just wasn't meant to be with music.
There's no good
It's
songs.
just infomercials about butt cream.
I don't need any butt cream.
Unless you got worms.
If you got worms,
Then
then you need butt cream.
Hi, everybody.
Hang on, let me close this out.
Yeah, close it.
Hang on.
Let's see, we got
There we
Chipper. What's this?
Just skip that ad.
I'm sure Clint Eastwood's around here. C103, Vince Dunn. We got Moko. Buzzer, Jessica, Harshman, Half Tank, Vince, John. Who else? Dad on the EU.
Dad on the
Pharaoh, Sergeant James, JIT, Christy Jennings, Lady T, Will Walker.
The way you say it.
Jim Gillespie.
Not creepy at all.
Uncle Al.
Uncle Al.
Craig Betts.
Someone said the other day, Sippy,
Robin,
move.
John.
You need to speak up or move closer to the mic because
I know, I always mumble.
You talk so low.
That's a perfect. Lisa Keith. Hi, everybody.
Give them all shout outs. Man, December 10th, YouTube's doing some crazy stuff. I was reading through the policies. I don't know if any of you had a hair in my mouth. I I don't know if any of you had the chance to sit down and read that yet. I know a lot of your other YouTubers as well. If you get a chance, I would read through it because it's got some interesting details about crazy stuff. So I'm just forewarning you, the craziness is coming.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, just keep that in mind, just in case. Just in case. All right. Uh-oh, we got Drop 4 Survival in here again. Uh-oh, everybody, watch out. I'm just kidding.
We got this.
Look out.
Sides, Dad.
Yeah, the new policies are crazy, man. I was reading through that thing, and it's pretty crazy. And what I was saying before, I know a lot of you caught that. And a few folks asked me later, but things that are classified as like weapon related. Okay, yeah. So if you're doing if you're doing show and tells, and you're talking about specific knives and things like that. And also with thumbnails, adding a thumbnail and you've got some crazy stuff going on, they're going to start going after some of these things. And also like false advertisement, clickbait type stuff. They're really man, they're just straight up shutting people down, man. From what I was reading, what their intent is to get rid of a lot of that stuff, just like
it's like that Paul
overnight
song, Straight Up Boy.
Straight up, man. I'm telling you. YouTube shutting you down.
I foresee a music video coming.
You would think that they would want community. It used to be back in the day. It was broadcast yourself, and now it's turned in from broadcast yourself to shh, don't say that. You're not allowed to talk like that. Mm-hmm. But I think the first ones on the list was like some crazy stuff, like pretty typical things that you would normally see, like child endangerment. You don't want them being launched out of a cannon or anything, or weird stuff, and profanity, a lot of language and stuff. So you got to tone that down. Some of the stuff is just kind of detailed stuff. I've already been kind of filtering myself when I talk a little bit, except for when I do live streams. I don't filter as much. I just kind of let it rip and see what comes out. But what was I talking about? All right, so I've got a top 20 list that I wrote 2 years ago, and it's cool. And I thought I would go through that again, but it involves SHTFs and pandemics. And tonight is about dignity. And sometimes I have to explain because folks would want to know the definition of dignity. So here's the thing: respect for oneself, honor. Having honor. What is having honor? Honor your name, right? It's have honor. And I used to say that a lot, and I know I've told my son a couple of times, have honor. And it goes with a lot of things. It's like
goes with integrity,
doing the right thing when nobody's looking, and having honor is very important. And honor falls into dignity, and also dignity falls into cleanliness, taking care of yourself, respect for yourself, and a lot of things. So keep that in mind. That's part of it. But here's the thing. Now, there's this book that I picked up, and I have put the book in the Amazon link. It's not in the drop down anywhere, but in the back section of Step One Survival, where it's got like all the links and stuff, or on the main page, it's got all the links to different stuff. I can take you around to a few things tonight. I figured I would do that as well, but that Amazon link, there's a section there for SHTF, and on my Amazon, it's got a section there for SHTF books, and I put the books all the books that you've mentioned, a few of them I've put in there for folks that are looking for them, easy search, so if anyone clicks it takes them straight to that book, because it's hard to find really good SHTF books, and I read tons and tons of books. She reads all these crazy medical books. I'm the one that's usually sitting down reading dark secrets of SHTF survival and stuff like that. Creepy, crazy books. And now there are some gory things inside this book, but tonight I'm just going to kind of pick through because copyright type things. I'm not going to sit here and just read through the book. So I'm going to kind of give you a slight. What was you saying earlier? I was going to kind of do just kind of my view of what I read, kind of thing. Kind of like, yeah, it's all right.
I'm just not digging this light.
No, you want me to turn the light off?
Can you?
I can. You want me to turn? Here.
It's really bugging my eyeballs, and it just makes my.
We're going dark.
We're going
dark.
My face look like it's a lumpy fourth dimensional.
I need to get some crazy
creature.
LED stuff. Y'all want to see something
That's
else?
Better.
Here. Hang on. I'm
feeling kind of dark and emo.
Let's
tonight.
just switch to scene 6. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and we'll just shut that off. I'm just kidding.
Should have picked my nose right there.
We're not going to do that. All right. Now tonight we have got a drawing. Let me do near the end of this. Here we go.
You love doing that. It's so fun.
We've got the wheel. I'm not spinning it yet. Okay, I'm not spinning it yet. It's not going to happen. So this is how we're going to do this tonight. We're going to spin the wheel, and I know there's probably a few people out there that do that crazy spin the wheel thing, but we're going to be doing that. And let's see. But yeah, let's get to this. All right. Now these are in here. It's stories from SHTF survival where it's war-torn country style stories. Okay, these are real. They're not fictional. They're real stories, and they literally sit down and get a view from someone else, and in their own words, explain what they saw and what they had to live through. So they take these stories, they put them in the book, and that's what the book's pretty much about. It's real life SHTF stories. It doesn't get any grittier, and it's spin the wheel. No, we can't spin the wheel yet. No, we can't spin the wheel yet. So, in the future we'll do a crazy spin the wheel where it's got some both at the same time. It's good.
Stop copying.
Jinx.
I know I'm cool, but come on now.
Jinx. All right.
You can't copy this.
Jinx. Okay. So, in the beginning of this, he's explaining, there's the human side and then the animal side. And I'll flip to kind of just, I marked some tabs that I kind of just want to point out that are really important. There's one part in here covering World War II, and during World War II, there was a concentration camp that had been freed, and the folks were still dying, and they at one point the British Red Cross arrived, and there's, the ladies there, they're skin and bones, and they're dying, and most of them would just die with just a sheet over them, and that's pretty much how it would end. And to make them there was a shipment of stuff that came in, right? And in that shipment of stuff was some lipstick, and they wanted lipstick to be able to put on because they wanted to feel human, and that lipstick changed the way they felt about themselves in the situation just by putting on some lipstick. And this goes back to the human and the animal side. And one has to stay far away from becoming an animal. And to do that, there's little things that you can do to keep yourself from becoming the animal during SHTF. And now this is worn torn stories. This isn't like we're battling a flood or a tornado type thing. This is war torn style SHTF survival. And one of the things that um, one of the things that was talked about is how horrific everything was, and the smell, and people didn't want to just die with a bed sheet and a tattoo on their arm that had a number. They wanted to die with feeling human again, and get back some of their humanity by wearing lipstick, and that was the point of the lipstick, and to keep from becoming a complete animal and being treated like an animal in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you can have, like it's saying in here, is that basically you can have all these fields of skill, all these different skills, be able to, you can sit and hone in every skill imaginable and be sharp as a Navy SEAL, or whatever you envision being as as being able to deal with situations, and put yourself through training courses and all this stuff, and have all this weapons and all the gear, and but you could simply, I mean, you could still fall to that fault of you could end up dead just by not realizing, and or just refusing to accept the reality of the situation. What is going on outside? You could be you could be that guy that's trying to keep the lights on, right? You're running a generator nonstop, and you're just trying to keep the power going, keep the coffee maker running, and things like that. But eventually, when that stuff stops, yeah, it's like off topic here. I'm trying to see out of the corner of my eye here. Anyway, I got derailed by the side chat. All right, so you're trying to keep some sort of normalcy in your home and keep things normal, but all this chaos is going on outside. And then you could be taken down real simple by not not expecting it, not not owning up to what's going on around you, and it's going to be a tiring event trying to run patrols and keep your house in check and keep yourself as clean as you can. And that's all you can do, is what he's trying to say, is that keeping yourself as clean as you can instead of falling to become an animal. And then at the same time, the animal instinct has to be there to protect yourself, because some people, like he was saying, will get too comfortable or just not face reality. They just refuse to accept it, and they get taken by uh, an old man that's probably had more SHTF experiences than the other guy, and he's got an old crappy rifle, and that guy gets killed, the guy with all the guns and gear, by some old man in an old rifle. So, and it's a possibility. And you're going to have the absence of the rule of law, right? And Where was I? I already got through all that part. That's just me interpreting what I read. So from that first section there, and um, but here's the thing: is that you'll ignore the fact that there's garbage, there's no working sanitation, there's no running water, there's no garbage truck coming to pick up your trash, and you'll ignore all that. And there's a possibility you try to block it out of your mind. It's like this can't be happening. This can't be what's going on. Your city could be getting shelled, could be getting mortar fire,
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
situation that's really crazy. We can go into some crazier, but in their situation, that's what was happening. The city's under mortar fire, and buildings are getting blown up left and right. Pieces of building are falling all over the place. And he says, he had to go out and try to scavenge for some food. He had to go out and scavenge for,
Who's this
clothes.
that's saying this?
Huh?
Is this a guy
Yes.
during World War II, right?
This no, it's a whole nother world. A whole nother world.
Oh, okay.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm not going to go through all the details because
Oh.
of copyright reasons and stuff. So
Okay.
I'm just.
Can we call him Frank?
He's Frank.
All right.
Frank. Anyways, but to make it fair, I did add the book to the Amazon link in case anybody wants to buy the book.
Yeah.
So the book's there. So all you gotta do is click my Amazon link. It'll take you right to SHTF books, and the book's there. You can buy it there. So if you're interested in any of this craziness that comes out, and this is just me interpreting the book, and I've done this many times when I do book reviews. I just kind of give you my interpretation if I liked it or not. And I absolutely love this book. I think it's the best book on the planet. And well, at the moment, for because of it goes into detail, and it's kind of like it goes into some of my other favorite books, like from A American and stuff like that. The Going Home series. I love that book. I mean, I love that was the start of some craziness right there, and I love the detail. And there's a lot of detail going on in this book, but he's telling stories about war torn environment, and I thought that's kind of cool that he puts it in such a and it's some horrific stories in here.
Well, yeah,
I
at the
mean,
rate we're going with Russia and China and
yeah, that's the kind of
different
the reason
countries.
why I'm doing a little interpretation of this section of the book because I thought people would kind of like this. So, but um, but here's the thing, it's in my basket now. I'm telling you, it's an awesome book, dude. You guys,
It says warning, very graphic content.
it says warning. Look, it's got a warning, and you got to be careful reading it. It might kind of get under your stomach a little bit, but this this is the book that you want if you want to really pick up that thought. What would it really look like? And he explains what it looks like. He says the stench is so bad through the city for all the dead bodies because nobody's coming and getting them. And there's no one to come get the bodies. And it's just completely annihilated. And there's pieces of building. There's one case where he's just trying to dodge getting killed, and he's just a regular dude, and he just falls. He falls and he lands on a dead body, and the body's been there for some time, and it just smells so awful. And he said he doesn't even know what the guy looks like anymore because there's a piece of building on his head, and it crushed his head, and his head's completely missing. And he's just sitting there in the goo and the stench, and he said he's sitting there praying. He's just praying and saying thank you for everything, and that he's still alive and he's not dead yet. And bombs are just going off left and right, and explosions and pieces of shrapnel are flying, and there's things on fire everywhere. And he's just sitting there praying that he's still alive. And he said uh, that was a normal day for trying to just scavenge through the city to find any kind of item he could use to make life better, any kind of food that he could find to make life better, because there wasn't. And it in this book it goes into detail when it comes to like the reality of gardening, the reality of food storage, and things like that. What to expect, how hard it is to do that when everyone's trying to blow you up. You know, he said, he said, it's like, well, if you don't like, if you don't, you can't just move. You can't just move. You can't just go somewhere else. It's happening everywhere.
Hope you're doing good, girl.
You just try to do the best you can with your area. But the main point of the story here is that no matter where he went, and he said, what?
I just caught a part of his face being smashed.
Yeah, you're reading that part?
Oof.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy stuff. Anyway, he said some people had stopped caring and they were letting themselves go. They wouldn't clean themselves, they wouldn't wash themselves, and cleanliness and hygiene, they just they went complete animal and didn't even bother anymore. You know, there's one point where he's saying that, you know, after he comes back from a routine like oh crap, what's it called?
Routine checkup.
No, he called it something. Anyways, it was on the tip of my tongue, but I lost it. But anyways, when he comes back from a routine of being outside and gathering things, he cleans himself up the best he can before he goes back into his home and what's left of his home. And he has one family member that lives in the home that he says wears pink slippers, and the pink slippers it just makes him feel some sort of normal. And he said there's nothing creepier than seeing a guy in a war-torn environment wearing pink slippers and carrying a rifle. And he says that people would come and try to rob them and try to bust into the house and things like that and steal things. Or he was talking about the enemy will look like you. The enemy will sound just like you, will talk like you, will walk like you, and will do their best to look just like you. And you'll never know who to expect is going to come to your door and try to smoke you to get your stuff. And he says,
I'm glad you're out, Gary.
he said, but there's nothing. He said there's nothing scarier than seeing a guy wearing some pink slippers with a rifle. Right?
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Appreciate you, but thank you very much.
Boom, 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 boom. Just in time, baby. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you. I'm going easy on the ears.
I like that. That was you just kind of chilled with the bell this time. You didn't go all crazy.
I don't have marshmallows.
That's good.
That's why.
Good.
If it was marshmallows, it'd be on.
I'm gonna hide the marshmallows.
Like Donkey Kong.
Definitely hide the marshmallows.
On drugs, they'd be bad.
But with lack of hygiene comes illnesses and things like that. And when he talks about keeping things clean, he says he doesn't mean keeping things clean like keeping the outside of your home clean. You know, it's going to be the best you can do. And the best you can do isn't the same as now. When you look around your home, you see how clean it is now. And SHTF version of that, there's dirt piling up everywhere. There's going to be dirt piling up everywhere. It's going to be, you have to get used to it, and it's kind of hard. Some folks, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie, it's...
Gone with the Wind.
No, Day After, right? The Day After, not the one with the frozen thing. I've mentioned this several times before.
That's the day after tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow? That's the day after tomorrow, but
that's
the day after... The day after is
with the wolves.
With the...
and the ships.
The
day after Switch on Lithgow.
It goes into World War III, right? Warheads and everything. Are you with me? Are you tracking? You picking up what I'm dropping?
I just said John Lithgow's in it.
Okay.
Come on now.
Well, you started talking about My Little Pony and stuff, and I'm like, what are you talking about, girl? You with me?
Nobody mentioned My Little Pony but you.
You wanted to. You said friendship is magic. I heard you.
I didn't say that.
I heard you say friendship is magic.
I think the voices are coming back.
Man, I've been watching the kids too long.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so friendship is magic.
Some bullets.
So, anyways, in that movie, you know, they knew the end was coming, but he's downstairs preparing the basement. He's shoveling dirt, you know, And this is the thing. This goes back to what we're saying here is that, you know, the human and animal side, you know, it and but then there's one section of this that also falls into play is denial. You you go into a form of denial about what's going on outside. There's rockets inbound, but you're still sitting there trying to make the bed. You're making the bed, you're doing the dishes, and all these sorts of things that sort of feel normal to you. And instead of preparing the basement and getting everybody in the shelter and moving the water in place, putting the food where it goes, or double checking the batteries and all this stuff. You know, instead of doing all that stuff, you know, you got to check the filter to the vent and all this stuff. Instead of doing that, you're upstairs, you crying, making the bed and things, and you're in total denial that chaos is coming, and that's uh, that's that's part of what a lot of folks will go through, and that's what no one is. Well, I'm not going to say no one. I'm not going to say no one. That's because I generalize when I say no one, but that's what folks uh, have to be prepared for. Not just it's not just weapons, gear, food, water, all this other stuff. Blah 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 blah. You know, the list goes on and on and on. And on. You know, stuff, and skills, right? You know, but you got to be prepared for that mental aspect of things too. And that's right, normalcy. There is no normalcy. That's right, definitely not. And but that's one of the scenes that he kind of describes because there's a lot of folks. He says just won't accept what's happening, and um, yeah, this is the part right there.
Denial.
Yeah, the denial, the disease. But anyways, um,
Adabada.
but yeah, he says here, as a skilled survivalist, I hope you will walk a fine line in between between being an animal and being a human, because you don't want to be an animal 100%, because at some points you're going to be an animal, is what he was trying to say, is because when he would find food, sometimes the food would be covered in worms and whatever else. But what he did to get through it, instead of looking at what he was eating, he would make sure he's in a dark room, and he would eat the food then if it's covered in whatever, because that's all he could find. And that's what he was kind of going through, was whatever he got, he did the best he could to try and eat it. And he said, uh, uh, anyway,
It's a lot of mental.
yeah. And the animal side is pretty much
Just
if
instincts, basically.
instincts, if someone comes to try and do something to you, you're prepared for that and situations. But um, he said you have to crush the Hollywood fantasy survival scenarios, and because the situations are different, you have to be flexible, you have to be able to adapt quickly, and in order to survive, because you're not going to make it without some sort of normalcy. You're going to need to have a little something, a little comfort thing. It kind of goes back to the lipstick story. You're going to need something that makes you feel human again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like the guy wearing the pink slippers. The guy wore the pink slippers because it made him feel human again. He said it made it all go away slightly just by putting on those pink slippers. It made him feel better. And this goes to something that, any little item that you have that kind of reminds you of a time when things were normal is what you want to hold near and dear and be ready to use in the time something bad happens. And I mean, it goes with children and stuffed animals and
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
Those kids turned wild.
Yeah, they did. They turned animal. That's a good example too. Lord of the Flies. I don't know how many folks out there have seen Lord of the Flies, but that's a really good example. And
that's why they killed Piggy. He was the
they killed
last
Piggy.
representation of civilization. with his logical way of thinking.
Yeah. Hey guys, you can't be doing this. Shut
Mm-hmm.
up. Hit him with the rocks. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. I mean, it boils down to that pretty much. And
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
That's pretty hardcore, yeah.
But no, it's uh, I, but like I said, for copyright reasons, I don't do that. I don't read from any of the books out loud. But
Rachel's pappy.
I just wanted to share with you guys that little clip, and for any of you guys out there that are interested in this thing, it's in the Amazon store. So, uh, but yeah, there you go. And that's some other things. I don't know. I wrote that down for pandemics. Can't believe that thing's 2 years old now. All this stuff that I've written down. I go back and I look at some of my old notes from. I think we're on like the 300th live stream or something. I can't remember, but because there's so many.
Yeah, the Bible would be a good thing to keep, especially the New Testament.
It's a great survival tool. It's got a lot of stuff to do with survival in that book. I'm just saying.
Well, it's keeping the human in humanity.
Well, it's not just that, but it's also got some great stories in it. It keeps you going, keeps you motivated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So use flashback. Uh, Anyways, I wrote this stuff. It was like my top 20 list of what to expect from a pandemic, and I thought that'd be kind of cool to throw that out there. And I forgot I even did this, but I made this neat little list of kind of what to expect outside, and it was just a real quick. I wasn't even counting when I wrote this. I just sort of started jotting them down. I put down when society breaks down, people will die because no one will know what to do, and that was my first one on the list. There's just so many folks that, I mean, a lot of you out there could help. A lot of you out there could help these people that don't know what to do. And it's not just a preparedness channel or a preparedness anything, right? Folks could get together and discuss things that would help them live longer in situations, right? Number two, um, most people are 9 meals away from anarchy. That's true. And you go and look at some folks' cupboards.
Oh, meals. I thought you said 9 mils, and I'm like,
9 meals.
what's a mil?
No, not 9 mil.
Are we talking about millimeters?
No, I'm talking about meals, homie.
Oh, I thought we were just 9.
She's talking, okay, meals, homie. What up?
Like,
no,
meals?
I'm talking about meals.
Oh, you're saying meal like a food.
No, fool.
Okay. I was like, okay, well, let's lock up.
Damn,
here.
Gina. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying.
Let's load the mags.
Let's load them mags. We're going to ride on these fools at their own barbecue. Let's do this.
Their own barbecue.
You jump in, Sippy. You ride in the trunk, girl. I mean, you're just going to pop out like like an angry Ninja Turtle or something.
All right. So I stuttered. Thought he said 9 millimeter too, so good.
I'm clicking buttons again. Oops. Sorry. Here, let's switch to scene 6 again. All right. Think happy thoughts, everyone. Calm down. We'll be back to our normal scheduled programming. Beep. Leave a message. I'm just kidding. Whatever. Being silly again. All right. Yeah, 9 meals. So, I mean, just imagine going in some folks' home and checking out their cupboards and seeing like they might have like one can of chicken noodle soup or something, right, and a box of top ramen or something. Some folks don't have much in their home, and some they don't mean for it to be that way. And there is, I mean, I'm not trying to get all hippie on you, but there is a hunger thing going on. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that can't afford to buy food. Food's too freaking expensive, so you got to keep that in mind too. There's a lot of folks out there, and what are they going to do? Well, anarchy, you know. They're going to go out and they're going to go find food and bring it back.
Well, they're going to tap into their animal instinct to feed themselves and go crazy on you.
And I figured that'd be good for this topic here. I started reading through my old list, and I was like, this would be perfect for adding this to this. Anyway.
All thought of civilizations out the door.
But yeah, you'll start to see a true disintegration in society, and that was number three. You'll see it just go completely break down, and people are just out to get one another and tear things apart. They don't care. Um, Number four on my list, people will form gangs to get the resources that they need, and sometimes they can't take things by force by themselves, so they'll buddy up with a few folks and split the profit of takedowns in the neighborhood. Uh, Strangers will take the homes. If you leave your home unattended and or you're still in the home, in some cases they probably won't care. They'll just come right in there and start ripping the place apart and take your stuff. That's one thing. That's why I said you got to be on your toes and ready, so nothing like that happens. And it's good to try and teach each family member some details, because you could have the possibility where you're on board but your spouse isn't. And this is a lot of the cases that I deal with folks that talk to me, is that they're on board but their spouse isn't, and it could be male or female, either way. Because I mean, I've talked to some ladies out there that say that their husbands are not on board with being prepared for anything. There's even some men out there that prefer not to be around firearms. Believe it or not, it's a true story. It actually is real. Uh, so just keep that in mind, because uh, the next one on my list here is the grade A predators will be out there. Now, when I say grade A predators, what do they do with the prisons and the prison systems? And I've said before
I
what.
was thinking Tebow too.
Well, if you're Debo,
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 Tebow, whatever
if
his name is.
if
T-bone steak. That's what got
you
me
are
on the
not right.
mind, I guess.
If I mean, if you think about
T-bone.
it, I I've discussed this before with prison systems and things like that, and the grid going down completely. And I've brought up a lot of scenarios like that, and the grid goes down completely, and you've got uh, there's a command order, put out to do something about the inmates, and they could end up having to release them on a partial release kind of thing, but they're still listed and could have to come back. It's one of those things that could possibly happen. They're not going to go through cell to cell, you know, taking people out or anything. That's not the kind of thing that would happen, but there could be a release type thing. It's just something to consider if things get that ugly and that nasty. Uh, uh, Cities will become uninhabitable and dangerous. In some cases, you just it's just everything's going to be destroyed. I mean, uh, the looting and everything else. There's not going to be much left. And the hardest thing for a lot of folks to do is to take another human life. That was another thing on my list. It goes into if you had to, could you pull the trigger if you needed to? And there's a lot of folks out there that, you know, we live in a digital age. I mean, a lot of folks are, they're online, they see images and stuff, but they're not in a situation where they think, could I do that if I needed to? I'm being attacked by somebody, I wouldn't know what to do, or they'll freeze, fight, or flee, and that's pretty much how it goes. Um, you Some folks won't know what to do, right? You got to get past that. You got to get past that. Now we have the chance, because your survival rate will drop to zero, and yeah, that's just how it is. Did I just quote Fight Club?
I don't
I
know.
think I
I
did.
wasn't paying
I
attention.
think I did by accident. The survival rate for over a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to zero.
Yeah, that's Fight Club.
I can't believe I just said that. Anyways, I catch myself doing that sometimes. All right. In the first couple of weeks, millions will die, billions across the world. And we're talking about pandemic here. So that's something else. And then without food, water, or power, cities become wastelands. That was the next one on the list. Very few people will have skill sets to survive in the new radical world. That was my next one. People who try to escape the city face with looters. So plus that and the bridges and whatnot. Um,
Better have some pack mules.
You don't want folks to see some even more frightening. See you moving. It's even more frightening to see folks moving with family. So it's kind of like family members, children, and whatnot. They'll see you as an easy target.
Yeah.
You've got to try and hide the kids the best you can. That's probably the hardest thing to do. Roads become unpassable. That goes back to uh, bridges and whatnot. Everything will just be closed off. It's too hard to move. And sometimes to get out of cities and places, is everything's overpass to whatnot. It's really hard to get out. People will begin to die in their cars. Some folks become trapped and they won't know what to do. They freeze. And any type of situation like this, like where it's total chaos, people will freeze and they can't
freeze
face
or heat stroke on the other side of the
heat
world.
stroke too.
Or the country.
There's going to be a gridlock between with law enforcement, military, martial law. You could have you'll have people pretending to be law enforcement. You'll have people pretending to be military. You'll have people setting up
EMS.
fake roadblocks. I'm your friendly neighborhood law enforcement, and it's folks will come walking right into the trap and. Surprise, we're not who we think we are. Billy Bob Joe Bob jumps out with an AK and grabs you up. But whatever. That just goes with it. And unburied bodies become major problems. Millions of bodies, because you're talking about pandemic, people just get sick and just die. So that's going to be everywhere. And
now you're talking about contaminated water.
Contaminated water too.
Cholera, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of folks like that. Like I said here, it's like a lot of folks will have a hard time facing reality when the grid goes down and they have no lights. They have no lights. Lights don't come on. All this other stuff, and they'll have a hard time facing that. They'll go into this this type of character. They don't know what to do. It's a traumatic experience for them, and being able to they can't live with the fact that there's no normalcy ever again. So it's really hard to face that because people will go nuts. People are going to be going after food, drugs, silver, gold, whatever they can find. And lastly on my list was, folks are going to try and steal everything. I mean, they'll puncture your gas tank just to drain the gas out of it. It's easier to do it that way than to siphon it.
Thank you, Will
I got a
Walker.
milk crate supply in my car. Nice. Very cool. Thank you, Will.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Bunch of
Very
explosions.
much. Thank you very, very much.
Huge explosions. But yeah, not just with cars. I know I've talked about this before with some of the other live streams where I've talked about kits and putting together stuff for your car, putting together stuff for yourself, your family, but putting things in your workplace. I know I sound like a broken record sometimes because it kind of becomes an echo chamber because I kind of have to run back sometimes and say something again because you never know, it might be somebody else that needs to know that. It's like storing things inside your workplace, inside of a locker, inside of a desk drawer or something, or whatever you've got. This goes into
that's a long day, graying out.
Woo! That's
14
awful.
hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I was only on my second 12 today.
Blah. But if something happens, and if it's your work environment or your school environment or whatever you're in, it doesn't matter. A lot of folks out there could be in a school environment, college or whatever, high school. You never know who you're going to get that comes across and listens. And this goes with any of you out there. It doesn't matter to have some sort of comfort items. I mean, if you're in pictures, not just with your phone, what are you going to do when your phone goes dead? You know, I carry family photos in my wallet. I have a stack of family photos. I flip through. They put a smile on my face, and I'm very traditional like that. Instead of just utilizing my phone, because in the event that the grid goes down and I can't recharge my phone, this goes back to what was that other TV show we watched? It was
Not My Little Ponies.
oh crap.
Not
It was about her phone at some point where she's talking about her phone and that thing kept turning the power
Scream. No, it was Scream where he was calling her on the phone. She's like,
no. No.
No.
No.
That wasn't the phone scene you're talking about.
What was it? It was like it started off like it was Revolution or Evolution. Revolution. I think it was Revolution or something. I can't remember the name of that movie. Or it was a TV series or something. I think we watched the whole thing. Oh, girl had that phone. Dude.
What phone?
Dude, bro, she had the phone.
Was it the kid in the bunker?
I like doing this to you. No, it was a freaking movie that was like all sci-fi and weird, and he had this little necklace thing, and he could stick it to stuff, and it would turn back on. He'd turn machines on and stuff. Remember that?
No idea what that
It was a round doodad. He would stick it. Somebody's going to say what it was. He would stick it to like any kind of machine. Like he could make a car rerun again. But they, if they had that doodad, they could turn an iPod on. They could turn a computer on. They could revolution. I was right.
I've never heard of that.
You've watched it with me.
I don't recall.
We watched the entire series.
I don't think so. I think you might have been watching it with the mystery
You're
person.
just she's messing with me,
Honestly,
y'all.
I don't remember
She's joking.
That.
Anyways, he had this little necklace thing, right? And he would take that necklace thing, and old girl had her cell phone. She just wanted to see pictures of her kids. And he stuck that thing on there, and it started showing. She started crying and could see pictures of her kids again. Well, anyways, I get to thinking about that sometimes.
Was that lady that left her family or something like that? Or she had to leave her kids?
Yes. But they were in a whole other state. But you can't drive anymore, so she can't get there.
I don't know.
Yes, she traveled. She flew on a plane for work, and the grid went down, and she's several states from her family.
Oh, yeah, the nanotech.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's when I lost interest, too. I remember now.
And that crazy dude was trying to take over the world and rule them all, and he had that little power doodad. And anyway,
yeah.
It was super dorky, okay? I mean, I'm not trying to get into the whole flipping movie, because then everybody's going to be like...
I kind of try to erase it from my brain.
I don't want everybody out there being like, oh, BA watched that? Ugh. How ridiculous.
You can't.
I watch everything that's... Even if it's sci-fi, I still watch it. I watch your crazy alien stuff, and we do Sippy's stupid movie night. Mm-hmm. We still do that, and you force me to watch these things, and I try to block it out of my mind and my memory, but I can't. And I think that was part of your stupid series I had to watch.
No, you haven't watched the Harrison Ford series, the Jack Ryan series yet.
I don't want to watch any more Harrison.
You're going to watch it.
You are obsessed with Harrison Ford movies.
He's awesome. Dude, he played like the best movies ever.
She has like this huge collection of Harrison Ford stuff she has to make me watch. Anyway.
Present Danger, Patriot.
So anyways, if you're in a situation where you're shelter in place and you're in a school or whatever, you're in college, it don't matter. A work environment, they won't let you leave.
Stargate.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. Have photos of your family, instead of having stuff on your phone, because in the event you can't recharge that crazy phone and get back on it, at least you got some pictures to look at, right? So that's one way of dealing with it. You can't get on to Face whatever or whatever other little site. I have a few of them. I was going to do that, but I'll do that at the end. But anyways, we should probably get to the drawing. You guys want to see... all right, so on Patreon we do gear. Oh crap! It's so hard to organize these things, but we do gear giveaway. We do random item selection giveaway. Whatever somebody selects, and some people vote. I let everybody vote what the next item's going to be, and It's starting to look like it's going to be a bow this time I'm giving away, but it's crossed between now. It's like tied neck and neck between bow and a kukri. So I don't know what the giveaway is going to be. The Not yet, anyways. It's got one more day to run, so everybody can get their vote in. I give people, about 48 hours to make a decision before I take it down and go ahead and boom, stamp it. That's what it's going to be, and post it so everybody can see it. Uh, and we do a book giveaway. Give away one book, and that's three. I know it's hard to get everybody, but that's three different items. But if you win it, I mean, you win it, right? So it's hard to make everybody happy on these giveaway things because some people get frustrated, like, I didn't win that time, and then they'll tell me too. They'll be like, "BA, I didn't win." I don't want to tell you, bro. You just gotta play. You gotta play the game and see if you win. All right.
Yeah, if you can catch a picture of Miss West S, aka Clint Eastwood, aka the Pitcher Dodger, yeah.
Wes.
And happy anniversary, you two.
Miss West S. I've got something you said in a live chat that I remember all the time, that I try not to forget. It's very important that I can't hold everyone's hand. And I will remember that forever. I have to remember that
Yeah.
because I cannot hold everyone's hand. And I kick myself so hard because all the time I feel like I'm trying so hard to hold everybody's hand to do something. But I got to remember, I go back to that and I'm like, I shouldn't do this. I don't need to do that. I don't need to hold their hand to do this.
You do say that.
I do not need to hold anybody's hand to do this. Thank you, Miss West S, for saying that because I carry that around me everywhere I go. You gave me a piece of advice that'll last me the rest of my life.
He listens more to you than he has with me.
That
On that advice, I told him, stop worrying about
that was such a helpful piece of advice. That one thing has saved me.
Josh.
Countless. I've lost count of how many times it saved me. All right.
Hold my foot.
No.
Robin.
No. All right. Let's do this. All right. Is it scene 2?
Doo-doo.
Scene 2. Oh, let's do it again. I kind of like that. Do the.
I'm doing it.
All right. All right. To the other side we go. Welcome to the Wheel of Doom. Anyway, so this is for the shotgun reloader, and I had no impact, no idea. So I give everyone 48 hours to claim their prize, and if I don't hear anything, I can't hold everybody's hand. And if I have no impact, no idea, I pick another person. So here we go, and we're gonna pick somebody else.
It's off to a slow start.
Doom, 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 doom. Holy cow! Look at that!
Gorilla.
Oh my goodness, dude! That guy talks to me about reloading all the time.
Really?
He's passionate.
Well, then it's meant to be.
He's passionate about reloading.
Well, good.
That is awesome that he got picked for that. It's cool. I thought it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's cool. That's definitely cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
very true, Green Note. You got to get the benzos to help with the opioid addiction.
All right, check it out. Hopefully, Vanilla Gorilla knows that he won, and
that's so funny.
I don't have to pick somebody else. But if you have, once again, you have exactly 48 hours to contact me. And if you do not contact me in 48 hours, I'll have to do it again, and somebody else will get it. I'm not going to hold everybody's hand, but if you get selected for something, you have to message me and claim it. All right. Anyways, but before I get off here, I know I've had a lot of trouble with these things, but I think it's scene 3. Is it scene 3? I don't know.
That's the bird.
But anyways,
Twitter thing.
if any of you guys, if any of you guys are on social media and want to message me every now and then, it doesn't matter. Click. I have
That's
a.
from Patreon, Sergeant James.
I have a Twitter account if you guys are interested in going over there. I'm also on Instagram, and there's also a. Let me go back to us. There's also a. I started a new one. It's the Rainbow Unicorn Militia uh, Instagram. It's because sometimes Instagram likes to play games with me and shut my account down overnight and weird stuff. So I have to open another account. So if any of you like private messaging and chatting with me, I'm also on there too. And anyway, Twitter does the same thing. They like to shut me down, but it's because I say things every now and then that make them upset, and they don't. They think I'm dangerous, so they try to get rid of me. But mailing address for any of you that want to participate in the holy cow.
We gotta end it with that. The homeless.
Man, I have.
That we're doing.
God bless you guys. I got to the post office today, and I needed all three of my kids.
And the puppy.
And man, all three of my kids had to help carry boxes, and I had a stack. I couldn't see where I was walking. I had my son holding my keys on my hip to guide me to the car because my son had to help me get to the car. It was so much craziness, and so we got to do another mail call next week. I don't know if I'm gonna do it Monday or if I should space it, or we can do it Sunday. Probably do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to do another mail call because it's just crazy. And but any of you, there's still plenty of openings for stuff. I think I'm good on deodorant because I saw one of the packages was deodorant, so I think we're good on deodorant. But we'll do a mail call and we'll show you guys where we're at.
Well, you can never have too much, to be honest.
Yeah, because it all goes like there's giving trees all over the town.
Yeah.
Okay, so the giving trees we can put stuff and hang it on the trees. So there's plenty of place. We're gonna do a drive-bys all over the place, just dropping stuff off. So you guys get to come along for that when we do the video. But yeah, if any of you want to help, you can use. We do not accept any money for this. Okay, so no money, please. Just we need supplies. That's it. Always remember that. So before someone messages me, hey, can I send you $20? Don't do that. It's strictly stuff. Okay. Somebody sent me razors, I think, and some other things, but it's still open. Everything's still open to ideas. If you got an idea of something you'd like to send,
we can do like water bottle containers.
Water bottle containers is good too. That's another good option. If you guys want to help with that, water bottle containers are great. That was another big thing. I think last year we went to the dollar store and we stacked up a whole bunch of. We bought as many as we could, the water bottles to pass out, and I think this year, if people want to do water bottles, they can. The cheapest ones, they don't have to be outrageous, as long as they're a water bottle with a lid and a cap, and you can store water in it. It doesn't leak all over the place. So that's key. So that's pretty much it, I guess. Anyways, the mailing address is it's just put SOS for the name and PO Box 7514 Kingsport. What's the zip code again?
0, 0,
No,
0,
no. What's the zip code again? 8675. What? What are you saying? You gonna type it? 37. There you go. You got it. But that's to the PO box. I think I don't know if here. Let me type the whole thing in. All right. In case anybody needs to send anything, I'll go ahead and type it in so you guys can see it. I should have just had this ready, but I guess not. Yeah, you know me.
Don't we have Veterans Day coming up on Monday?
Yeah, it's Veterans Day's Monday. I think, yeah, Veterans Day's Monday. Yep. It sure is.
So, thank you to all those who've served. Appreciate your service.
Well, I got this in here. Why
King's
did it?
Paws.
I didn't. It did it on its own.
I doubt it.
Got it. There we go. Ha ha! I got it. Boom. Ha. There we go.
Princess Jew.
All right.
Juju.
I got it.
Very nice.
Okay. So, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I got. You got anything?
Nope. Just God bless. Thank you for all the vets out there.
And
for everybody who's just been positive and supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. To all the friendly folks that are in the community, I just want to thank you guys and gals, and from the bottom of my heart. Mm-hmm. It's hard, doing this. Sometimes, some people get creative in their comments. Some people get very hateful, and it's hard when you read through those things, and I try to ignore it.
Yeah.
When someone says negativity I've gotten past the whole dislike thing. Like if someone dislikes like multiple times, I don't even care about that stuff. But it's sometimes things people say, and I'm like, wish I hadn't read that. So I'm trying to read through to get to the positive stuff. I don't want to see the negativity. So sometimes things get pretty hard to read sometimes.
You really have to have thick skin.
You have to have thick
all
skin.
Those animals on the internet.
There's a lot of animals on the internet.
Those cowards that would never ever say that to your face.
But it's hard to read through that stuff, and I'm just very thankful to have all of you that are very positive, and you don't want to try and harm me and things like that. So I just want to say I'm thankful for all you guys.
Yep.
Definitely. And from, let's see, let me scroll up a little bit here. I'm trying to see if they're still here.
Who?
There's a couple. There we go. I don't know if Christy's still here.
Yeah, she's still in here.
I don't know if Christy's still in here. Anyways.
I just said she's still in here.
Oh, she is? Okay.
How do you tune me out
I don't
so
know.
fast?
I'm talking. Anyways, Christy, I just want to say personally, without typing, check it. Instead of me typing, to reply to you, I just want to say thank you so much for your comment that you wrote. It warmed my heart. It made me feel better. I was having a really crappy week, and you don't comment very much, but when you did, it definitely meant a lot to me, and I just want to say thank you. And I really appreciate it. But to all you guys and gals that join us every Saturday night, I want to say thank you guys, and I guess that's all I got, and I'm going to get off here. You got anything else?
Oh, so were you talking to me?
Oh, jeez Louise.
I didn't hear you.
Knock it off. Dang it. Come on. You got anything else?
No.
No? That's it?
No.
All right. God bless you guys, and thank you
God
guys
bless.
for coming and hanging out.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
have a happy Sunday tomorrow.
Stay sane.
Stay safe.
Don't turn animal.
Don't turn animal.